Hey everybody, Scott Perlmutter here, Cleveland's wage and hour lawyer, here to talk to you about common wage and hour and pay issues in the restaurant industry, which is one of the biggest industries that we see pay violations in. So I'm going to give you three pieces of advice if you work in the restaurant industry about how to make sure that your employer is paying you fairly. Number one, most employees in the restaurant industry, or many employees in the restaurant industry, are tipped employees, meaning that you receive at least $30 a month in tips and your employer pays you an hourly rate that's only half of the minimum wage that everyone else gets paid. So in 2019 in Ohio, tipped employees can get $4.30 an hour versus any other kind of employee has to be paid at least $8.55 an hour. One of the big things that we see in the restaurant industry is that employers shave their employees' hours, so they're not paying them that $4.30 an hour that they're required to pay them for every hour worked. So that's tip number one, that you make sure that you're receiving on top of your tips $4.30 an hour for every hour that you work. Tip number two is that tips belong to the employees, not the employer. So your employer is never allowed to take any of your tip money. You can be asked to be part of a tip pool, that's legal, but your employer, and that includes managers and supervisors, never allowed to take money out of your tip pool. Number three, for hours worked over 40 in a week. So if you work more than 40 hours in any work week, you are required to be paid overtime. The big issue that we see in the restaurant industry is that tipped employees get paid time and a half of just that $4.30 an hour rate instead of the $8.55 rate that is the minimum wage in Ohio. So even if your hourly rate is $4.30 an hour because you're a tipped employee, if you work over 40 hours in a week, you have to be paid 1.5 times that $8.55 an hour on top of your tips for hours worked over 40. So if you got any questions, drop them in the comment box below.
For truth, for justice, for you.